Today, we're diving into a question that has puzzled doctors and patients forever. And the answer, it turns out, might be hiding in plain sight. Or rather, inside all of us. We're talking about our microbiome fingerprint.
Right? I mean, think about it. You've probably experienced this. You and a friend get sick with the same thing, take the same medicine, and one of you gets better right away, while the other sees no change at all. Why is that? Is it just luck? Or is there something else going on? Something totally unique to each of us? For the longest time, we've looked to our DNA for all the answers, but it turns out that's only half the story. There's this other massive biological world we need to explore, our microbiome. This, bustling city of bacteria, fungi, and viruses living on and in us could be the real key to understanding why medicine isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. So, to really get a handle on this, let's get our hands dirty with our first case study. We're heading straight into the gut, and I want you to think of your gut like a garden. It can be overgrown with weeds, or it can be a beautiful, thriving ecosystem. Let's see what happens when we do a little gardening. Okay, so here's the setup. It's a proper, gold standard clinical trial. Researchers took a group of people who are all having GI problems. For 6 weeks, they gave half of them a special blend of probiotics. Now the other half, they got a placebo, which is basically a fake pill. That part is absolutely crucial because it helps prove that any changes they see are really from the probiotic, not just random chance. And of course, the real detective work was in analyzing everyone's gut microbiome before and after.
And oh boy did things shift. For the people taking the placebo, not a whole lot changed. But for the group taking the actual probiotic, something pretty incredible happened. Their entire internal ecosystem got a complete makeover.
And when I say a makeover, I'm not talking about a little trim. The change was massive. One specific beneficial organism didn't just grow a little bit, it exploded. It increased by a factor of 200. That is a huge, huge change. And the star of the show was this beneficial yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Now I know this chart looks a bit busy, but just focus on those green bars. That's our hero yeast. See how it just skyrockets in the probiotic group? Not only did the sheer amount of it go up, but its prevalence did too, which just means more people in the group had it, jumping from only 20% of them to a full 60%. This is a huge deal, because this yeast is a well-known sign of a really healthy gut.
So how did this happen? Well, that probiotic acted like a master gardener. By planting so many of these good flowers, it literally crowded out the weeds. The bad microbes just didn't have the space or the resources to grow anymore. It's not about fighting them directly, it's about out-competing them for real estate.
And here's the other side of that coin, the proof that the weeding worked. As the good yeast flourished, the bad guys got evicted. Again, just look at the big picture here. See the red? That represents a potentially harmful bacteria. And its numbers, they absolutely plummeted, dropping by more than 150 times. The garden was officially getting cleaned up. And this is the part that really matters. This wasn't just some interesting science experiment. This rebalancing act inside their guts was directly linked to how the patients actually felt. People in the probiotic group reported way less bloating, less pain, and fewer GI problems in general. Their gut felt better because, their gut was better.
Okay, so that study is amazing. It shows how a treatment can actively change our microbiome for the better. But what if the microbiome could do something even wilder? What if it could actually predict how you're going to respond to a treatment before you even start it? For that, we're going to pivot to a different part of the body, the bladder.
So here's the new scenario. You've got a group of patients dealing with overactive bladder, and they're all getting the exact same Botox treatment. After the treatment, the researchers split them into 2 simple groups. Responders, the folks who saw a big improvement, and non-responders, the ones who, sadly, didn't. The big question was, what was the difference between them? And this is where my mind was blown. The biggest, most important differences between the 2 groups weren't found after the treatment, they were there from the very beginning. The people who were going to respond well to Botox already had a different urinary microbiome. For instance, they had more of certain good bacteria, like this one, Acinetobacter schindleri. It's like their bodies were already primed for success.
And this predictive power didn't stop at success. The microbiome analysis could also act like an early warning system. It turned out that patients who started out with higher levels of these particular bacteria were way more likely to get a nasty urinary tract infection after the procedure. Their own microbes were essentially waving a red flag from day one.
All right, let's just step back for a second and put these 2 incredible stories together.
In one case, we saw the microbiome reacting to a treatment, and in the other, we saw it predicting the outcome. So what does this tell us about our relationship with these tiny passengers?
This side-by-side really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you have the gut study, a clear story of cause and effect. You introduce a probiotic, and you cause a reaction. The whole microbial landscape changes. But on the right, you have the bladder study, which shows us the microbiome as a blueprint, a snapshot in time that can help predict the future. Two very different, but equally powerful roles. So if we boil it all down, we get one incredibly powerful message. Our microbes are not just passive bystanders. They are active, dynamic partners in our health. They can be changed, for sure, but they can also send us signals about our health. They act as biomarkers, which is just a fancy way of saying they're like a built-in diagnostic tool, telling us what's going on and even predicting how we'll respond to certain medicine.
And this all leads us to the really exciting part. What does this all mean for the future of medicine? Because this isn't just about cool science. This points to a fundamental shift in how we treat people.
For so long, medicine has largely been a one-size-fits-all game. We give the same drug to a huge group of people, knowing it'll only work for a percentage of them. But as we've just seen, that model is flawed because we aren't all the same on the inside. The goal is to move beyond that, toward medicine that is truly tailored to you, the individual.
And this is the essence of personalized medicine. It's a future where a doctor doesn't have to make an educated guess. Instead, they can use real data about your body, in this case, your unique microbial fingerprint, to choose the treatment that has the highest chance of working for you right from the very start.
Just picture that for a second. No more months of frustrating trial and error, trying different drugs that don't work. Imagine a future where a simple, painless swab could give your doctor a roadmap to the right prescription for your body. It's a future with less guesswork and hopefully a lot more healing.
And that really leaves us with this one final mind-bending question. We've seen that our microbes can tell us how to fix our gut and predict our response to bladder treatments. But you have to know, this is just scratching the surface. As we learn to listen more closely to this world inside us, you just have to wonder, what other secrets are our microbes waiting to tell us?